in climate sustainability and social impact. And today we have four leaders joining us. We have Jiten Desai, who is a startup founder. You've started up three times, I guess. Two times. So he's an entrepreneur. He has had a startup before this, and he's having another startup. And we have Aishwarya. So she works in policy, and she's a policy and strategy lead in GNITS. How many of you know that college? Wow, nice. And we also have Dr. Malini Reddy joining us. She's the head of business solutions and strategy at Resustainability. I'm sure you would have seen the logo in the fifth floor, right? Mr. Masood Malik is actually giving a keynote there, and we have Dr. Malini joining us here. And we have Shramay Jha. He's an investor. The movie. Thank you. So he's an investor. He's joining us from this investment firm called Tavestone VC, right? So let me give a quick background about all of them. So Jiten, he has this startup called Ambiator, and he's going to be pitching later today, right? He's going to explain his solution. And he's been working in the energy efficient cooling systems, okay, with that startup. And I'm sure you saw that as well in the previous workshop, right? How many of you saw this energy efficiency, energy storage, clean energy on the table? Hands? Nice. So he's working in that space. And he also has a lot of experience in real estate, management consulting, wealth management, telecom, and he's an ISB alumnus, so Indian School of Business. And so if you see, he's not had a linear career. He's he's tried out so many things. He has skills in various. He has various skills in various industries as well. So I expect you to nag him after this session. And the things about him that I don't cover, please make sure you ask him. And we also have Dr. Malini Reddy. Your career has not been linear as well, as I know. So you worked in the fashion, the garment space, the fashion industry, and also you worked in the circular textiles, working in that space, right? So circular economy in the textile industry you worked. And she's also, after that, she's done a lot of marketing for some, you've also done a lot of marketing for some reason. And you have also worked across waste management, water and sanitation, climate finance, apart from circular economy. And all of this spanning Asia and Africa. So you've traveled a lot as well. And right now you are looking at, we can start with Jiten. Yeah.
It was absolutely, it was ad hoc. I didn't plan to be in this space. I was on the other side helping investments into startups. And I, by chance, met my co-founder while we were very good, profitable startups. India is a large opportunity, and I think it's a great place to be.
For you, it has been profits and the general scope in climate and sustainability solutions industry.
Yeah, so decarbonization is where I started. That's how we were making investments in the ecosystem, EV ecosystem space. And this, from a cooling angle, also there's a very large decarbonization angle, and that's where the blue ocean is, where we started to look at. And the bonus is that it's a very profitable business to be in.
I think the first part of your question was 5 to 10 years back. Where were we?
No, I am switching up the questions.
Oh, that's fine. So for me, this was ad hoc simply because climate as a space was not something I was looking at. But wanting to work in it started with volunteering, where you start learning more on why do we need to do a few things. Why is climate a very important factor? What is the problem right now, and how is it tied to everything that we do? especially now that we know the fact that your everyday life gets disrupted simply because one factor in what we say the climate space is not functioning well. So that's where I realized this is something we need to be working on, even if it is not my day job. But can I keep doing this otherwise? What will my role be in saving climate or saving the environment in that sense? So I think that's where it started. I was in school and college trying to figure this out. But yes, I was a BBA and then didn't realize how a BBA would end up doing this. But yeah, that's how we're here today.
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm Malini. For the first 18 years of my career, I've been a teacher. I was teaching in students of postgraduate, students of management. So after 18 years, I got tired of teaching students like you who were learning from me and going out and making more money than me. So I thought I don't want to get into the corporate, so I was looking for something meaningful to do. So I shifted jobs, which was into a quasi-academic teaching working professionals, and a chanced encounter, visit to a slum where I saw a lot of drainage running through the slum, and a chanced visit to a government school where I saw children consuming food during the midday program with soiled hands, no toilets, no water, no hand wash station. So I think that is something which really stuck with me, and that was my pivot into doing something in the environment space. And as Deepa had mentioned, I started my environment journey through water sanitation hygiene, got into a lot of projects through large funding organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, GIZ, et cetera, World Bank, etc. And then moved to urban development, moved to circularity, moved to sustainability. So it's been a good journey. For someone who looks at my CV from the outside, previous generation folks would probably think I have no focus in life because I've moved so many sectors. But in the current context and in future, I'm very relevant, though old, as Deepa made it a point to point out. I'm very relevant because diversity of experience, both technical as well as practical, is valued by companies. It makes you richer. So that's where I am, and I'm looking forward to today's interaction.
Hey, hello everyone. So I'm probably the least directly involved in climate. My overall involvement basically started when I started doing investments. And when you look at investments, you realize that with the kind of things that the world is going through, the kind of policy challenges that India is facing, there are a lot of startups, there are a lot of investments in this space, and as Chaitanya said, there is a lot of money to be made in this space. So that's how my work interacts with climate, right? And climate and sustainability for me is part of a larger portfolio that I look at, but it's increasingly becoming quite important. And there's been a change from previous years where people used to think that climate tech is what you did if you can't do anything else. So that's what it is.
What I've realized is that Jiten was in the real estate space, so you found a lot of issues with buildings and the urban infrastructure, and then that led you to climate. And please correct me if I'm wrong. And I see Aishwarya, who has had a personal problem. She's saying that climate. She started saying that climate has started affecting every part of her life, and she wanted to do her bit, and she started looking at it from a policy angle. And we see Dr. Malini, who was working in textiles, garments, water and sanitation sector, and then she wanted to see how to apply those skills in the climate and climate space, and then do some kind of intervention in eco-social space, environment and social space. And Shramay has been looking at it from a finance point of view. How do you find and fund climate solutions? In this case, it's startups. Jiten wanted to tell me about his start. Jiten, was it the built environment, the real estate, or
No, it happened by chance.
by chance for you? Okay. So let's move to the next question. So now I'm going to have very one specific question from each of you. So I will probably start with Jiten again. So Jiten, for you, let me just check 1 second. I want to see which is the spiciest question I can ask you. Okay, so you've been a startup founder twice, right? So if two students are coming to you, one is a non-engineering student but doesn't know anything about environment or social impact, and there is another student who doesn't have a tech or engineering skill but is very passionate towards climate and sustainability, whom would you hire and why? And what kind of hiring? What kind of wrong hiring have you done and later realized that this is the type of hiring I should do? So this would help a lot of college students, this answer.
See, I've made a lot of bad hires, even in my corporate life, where we were mandated to fill up seats just because of numbers that needed to be filled up. But I'd always select passion over technical skills. I'm an electronics engineer, but I know how I passed. I learned everything on the job. And for me, that skills are easily acquirable if you're on the job. So for me, passion is first. And interviews, unfortunately, give you a very small sliver of time with that candidate. So you don't get a chance to see whether they are really worth it. You can put up a very weird, false face in front of the interviewer for that 30, 40 minutes and make yourself sound great, passionate, all of that. But when it comes time to really do the job well, you can figure out in 3 to 4 months. So I'd always select passion, and at Ambiator we call it Ambiator School of Ambiator's Learning School. So you are allowed to make 3 mistakes, and we allow for all our employees to go through that rigor, and we welcome them to make mistakes, learn, but not repeat them.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry for coming in out of the whatever plan. Just a counterpoint, because this is a set of young people who are, thinking through life. So just a counterpoint for you to consider, not to be against Jiten, but a counterpoint. I believe there are no bad recruitments. There are only bad recruiters. If you've not identified the right person, right fit, that's your problem, not the person's problem. The person is good, just not a good fit for you. That's point one. Point two, in his sector, perhaps his experience, perhaps passion is higher. Suppose I have to construct a flyover and all of you have to cross that every day. I would rather choose someone who's technically qualified and a little lazy or difficult to deal with than someone with great passion. So I think it's very contextual. In sustainability sector, for example, you need a combination of 3. You need passion and heart, definitely. But you also need engineering. And the third thing you need is chemistry. I think these 3 things, plus a good business head. So these 4 combinations you cannot find in one person. You have to have 4. So you need to have a team of people. One of them is an enthu cookie. One of them is a techie. One of them is always in the lab. And one of them is out there understanding the business. It's a teamwork.
Thank you. Thank you for the points. I would also add that we need a couple of creative people to the mix as well. And I would like to go with Aishwarya now because they've spoken. I want Aishwarya's point here. I will ask you a question as well.
Yeah.
So the thing is, many people think that working in policy is a very slow career, very less paying career, and you are not able to put your points across or change much, right? So how has your experience been? Because you've been very, bullish on being in policy and education, and you've also written that it will make an impact,
Yeah.
right, if you are in the policy and education space.
Yeah.
So that is one, and you're not an engineer.
No.
So I would want to add, I want you to add the points as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for context, I'm a non-engineer strategizing for an engineering school. Okay, and it works. So it's not so much of a rocket science as to how is this possible. To your point, yes, policy as a space is slow simply because it's a system that's built. Bureaucracy is very much a part of it, so it is time taking. However, it depends on what your understanding of policy space is. If you come into policy wanting to make policies, that's not going to happen anytime soon. That is only at a level of a minister or, like PMO's office, or all of those people that you elect will do this job. If you're looking to get elected, that's a separate conversation. You can run for office. We need young leaders. Definitely look at it as a career choice, and we will be there to support you. But if you're looking at a non-political kind of career, please have a clear understanding of what you would want to achieve through it. For me, it's very much making changes, building systems at a level where I know implementation is a miss, right? That's one of the questions we keep answering. If policies are so good, why don't they work? They don't work because we don't implement them well. There's a chance that the policy in itself is not drafted well. That's a separate thing. But if a policy is good, it's not working, it's because it's not being implemented well. I find that to be my strength, where I can actually do that and close the gap. So I've studied policy to understand the system and then make it work where it needs to work, right? So then it's not a slow process. I think I've been in this space for what now, 3 years, and things have really, really moved fast for me. Touchwood. So yeah, it depends on your understanding of the space. What is it that you would like to do, where your strengths lie, and going bullish on that, and then you'll definitely see the change happening.
So coming back to Dr. Malini, you've answered part of the question I was going to ask, but you also come from a policy space just like Aishwarya, but you get to apply that in corporate. And apart from that, with all your system thinking's lens, you also had business strategy at Resustainability and a lot of solutions, basically products at Resustainability. So what is your take here? And if you want to add to what Aishwarya is saying is what I ask. And the second thing is, I want to, since you made it in the corporate space, I want you to tell the students that there is a really, if there is a serious career ladder, and how did you take that ladder, and tell them how lucrative it is.
Sure. So I have, I think, about 29 years of work experience. Out of that, 2 years as a consultant, 25 years as an academic and a quasi-academic. This is my first corporate job. I don't know if I'll survive. So I'm just a year and a half in the corporate. But just to build on, from where Aishwarya left. See, I mentioned about my thinking changing when I visited a slum and a school and all that. So I had two options at that time. I had the option of working at the grassroots, start my own NGO, start my own initiative, work with one school at a time, start my own school at a time. That's one way of thinking that people have. I was also an entrepreneur for 4 or 5 years of my life in my initial career, but I was on the fashion side of entrepreneurship, not on the grassroots level. The other way of thinking, which is where my heart is, to go large scale. If you want to have an impact on the 15 lakh government schools that we have in India, then you have to go the policy route. If you want to have impact on one school at a time, then you go hands-on, start your own initiative, right? My heart is with large-scale interventions. So I went and worked with UNICEF, and we could touch 15 lakh schools with Ministry of HRD. That's how. So as she said, it's a slow game, but it's an impactful game. and it's an inclusive game. It covers everyone, not just a few. So that's very important. Second point, the company that I'm working with right now is called Resustainability. It's Asia's largest in the waste management circularity space. We started as a waste management company, which is to treat industrial hazardous waste. We have our own factories. We have about 70 plus units that we run across different waste streams. So municipal solid waste we had earlier. Recently, we have done away with it. But industrial hazardous, biomedical waste. So we deal with that waste, and we have circular economy solutions. So plastics recycling, e-waste recycling, precious metal recovery, construction demolition waste. So we have these kind of, so these, we have grown from being a waste management company to a resource recovery, right? So the mindset is, how do I recover from what I have? Now, as a business organization, if you really want to make money, you need to have a strategic approach to how you will influence policy, right? Because policy decisions, if someone says tomorrow onwards 50% vehicles on the roads have to be EV, people in the EV business will do well, right? So they need to have somebody in the strategy and policy department of a company which is in the EV business, which is trying to influence this strategy. So as a corporate, there are very few corporates who bring these two together. I'm happy to see Narayanama College has done that. Always taken a lead, have a lot of respect for this college. But we are one of the few companies where the business development, business strategy, and policy are very intrinsically linked. And I think that's the way to go, that's the way to think.
Thank you so much. Adding on to that, Shrame, so you've advised the Indian government. How was your move to the VC space in finance? From coming from a political science background, and I would also like you to add a bit about what Jiten had said, because I also agree a bit with Jiten in the sense that you need to have a very sound technical knowledge to do the work, and then passion is also a part of it. There are certain people who've not had passion, but because of exposure to various environmental elements, gradually they've started understanding the environment's space as well. And I also agree with Dr. Malini in the sense that we need to have a good mix of people. So when you are looking at it from an investment lens, how are you looking at this? And of course, I agree with Aishwarya that we need to have a non-engineering person in place as well.
Okay, so I'll answer the second question first. So, when you look at it from an investment point of view, or if you're interested in the investment space, right, passion for investments is more important than passion for climate, is my take on it, simply because you can be a good investor and then you will be a good investor in climate tech. If you're obsessed with climate tech, then, I mean, you might still make a good investor. I'm not saying you won't, but it's the angle I come at it from is that learn investments first, learn how to be a great investor, and then if the sector of your choosing comes to be climate tech, then you should do that. So, and sorry, what was the first part of the question again? How did I make the switch? Yes. So, see, I started off as an entrepreneur. I got a partial exit right out of college. And I've you know, my college has a lot to do with that. My undergrad college was Ashoka University, and you know, I was around a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of VCs, a lot of private equity guys, and so the exposure really helped me, because I had no idea what any of this meant when I went to college, or even, I mean, probably in my first year, right? So that exposure helped me frame my goal. And then going to Invest India, I was working on an intersection of policy and investments. So moving to investment was actually not that hard because I was already doing the job. So my move was more of investments than policy and investments, and then back to pure investments. So.
We are going to have a closed door round robin because we don't have more time. But again, that's going to be connected to what you all spoke, right? So, Jiten, one takeaway a student could get today from all the discussions, from your experience, career experience.
See, I think 90% of what you want to do gets influenced by upbringing, the company, your peers, etc. But I'd urge you to take that 10% chance or a risk on what you're truly passionate about. And I'm sorry if I didn't mean to say that don't be technically qualified and jump into something where you require technical skills. I would like to correct that. But that 10%, right? Keep it open, see where life takes you, and it's only at that point can you look back and connect the dots. Right now, you may see hundred of streams available, a lot of lucrative opportunities, a lot of impactful opportunities, and maybe somewhere your technical skills get tested the most. Pick a path that's reasonable, but don't try to make sense of what the future holds because it's a very dynamic situation right now and things are really changing. The climate impact that we are seeing today is because of things that happened 20 years back. So it's not very easy to predict these things. But take that 10% leap of faith, take that risk, and you never know, some of these decisions do pay off quite well, and it's worth it.
I'm in education. I'm going to keep it as aligned with you as possible. Um, yes, you will have career paths. We know a lot of engineers who chose engineering simply because that was not their initial interest, but they've taken it forward anyway, right? If that is the case, that's fine. What I will recommend is if you're interested in social impact, climate being one of the factors, please volunteer, intern, work with companies, get a sense of what you like and what you don't about the space, and then make a decision on what is the next step you would like to take. What's the role? What's your dream role? Or what's the dream company you want to work in? Or do you want to work with the government? Do you want to work in academia? All those things come later. Give it a shot, get an experience. It really, really helps to get some sense of where you're headed. So yeah, these are very good investments to make in terms of your time and effort while you're in college and in school. And the minute you start seeing the impact of the work you do, I think you'll know where you stand with it. So yeah, experience is the word if I had to. Yeah.
See, all of us come from very different backgrounds. Some of us are more privileged than the others. Some of us may not have the luxury of following our passion. But the thought that I want to leave you with is that don't be in a rush. Nurture your passion, nurture your desire to do something meaningful in life. If not in the first 5 years, you'll get there in the sixth year. That's very important to have something, a cause close to your heart that you want to contribute to is very important. But I want to leave you with one word, which is actually the title of a book. So it's a full book, it's a full philosophy. It's called Ikigai. It's in the Japanese philosophy. Essentially, the sweet spot is when you're able to find that activity where you have a skill set, the world needs it, and therefore will benefit from it. There are companies who will pay you for doing that job, and you enjoy doing it. So once you get these four together, you get your sweet spot. Because that phase of people who want to do something purposeful in life necessarily have to be a jholawala is gone. We all want Mercs. We all deserve it. Let's get it. But you should be smart enough to work towards that goal of what is important right now. So is renewable energy the next big phase? Is decarbonizing the next big phase? Is solar the next big phase? Where is the next big phase, which is what your career counselors would help you understand. Is that something you like? Is that something that you have an inherent capability of working towards? Because believe me, whether you like it or not, you have to spend 12 to 14 hours of your daily life in your work. You better like what you're doing. You can't survive otherwise. Only money will not help. You'll get into major depressions. So do what you like, find what you like, Wish you all the best.
I really liked what everybody on the panel said because, I mean, just for context, I'm somebody who gave the JEE, passed engineering, and dropped out at the last second. So, I think my viewpoint for all of you in life is that if you're at the undergraduate level, right, your undergraduate degree will build your mindset. So try and choose the best college you can get. It doesn't matter which discipline you're in, unless you specifically want to be, like, if you want to build a bridge or if you want a particular skill set that can't be taught outside of that college, choose the best college you can get, and your masters or your sort of work will kind of choose where your skill set and your interests lie. So it depends on which stage of life you're in, but that's what I would say to you.
Thank you so much, panelists. Just to summarize what they've all said, one thing is they've said that you will have to map your interests, right? So without passion or interest, just getting a high-paying job is going to lead you to depression. So I was one example of that. That's why I quit my full-time and got into entrepreneurship. The second thing they told you was that interest alone is not necessary. You should also have the technical skill set. Technical could be law, communications, engineering, medical, whatever it is that you could call technical. Subject matter expertise is something that you need to have in whatever work you're looking at, right? The third thing the panelists said were the fact that don't be very stiff and stubborn. Even if you have figured out a focus or an interest, start exploring. Start exploring till you make a decision. And then you figure out that, yes, you are bullish in this space and you are going to build a career in this particular space. Till you get that kind of determination, keep exploring. That's why I think I had a lot of bad hires because they were probably experimenting with their jobs as well as much as they were experimenting with their academics, right? That is also something you could do while you're doing your academic exploration. You could also do your exploration with internships, volunteering, and with jobs, and not be a bad hire for someone, right? It costs a lot of money in this business, in impact. And finally, what I would like to say is, apart from my masters that helped me very less, I did a lot of fellowships. I kept exploring and I did a lot of fellowships, one after the other in climate, just to get to the space where I'm at. And I know that I still lack a lot of skills. So it's a long journey. So you need that grit, I would say. One thing you need is grit to see the impact happen. So today I'm sitting on the stage, I'm seeing about 100 kids who are listening to all of us, and I was one of the person who made it happen. For this, I have worked 20 years for this to come alive. So you need that kind of a grit to go forward and see whatever you haven't thought actually happen in in reality, basically. Since we are running short of time, we will not be able to take question and answers from Jiten, Aishwarya, and Shramya, because you are going to be interacting directly with the kids. So if you would please excuse me, probably one question with Malini, Dr. Malini. Anybody has questions for Dr. Malini? There is one person. Could a volunteer help get a, yeah. Sorry, we are going to have Shramya, Aishwarya and Jiten join us after the session for one-on-one questions and answers. Yeah.
Good afternoon, respected panel speakers and everyone. So I have question for Malini ma'am is, as you visited slums, there are so many slum areas in Hyderabad right now. So what are the solutions you are thinking for them? Do you want to solve they are in the slums, they can't go to schools and they work for wages. So what are the solutions you want to find for them?
It's a broadish question, so I'll situate it in my background, right? So this visit of mine was in a city called Warangal. Warangal has 180 slums. I visited one slum. And we did, through a group of urban planners, water sanitation experts, we did an entire analysis of how much it will cost us to make that slum become sanitary. All the houses have toilets, everything, drains are covered, there are no water stagnation, everybody has drinking water, etc., etc. So when we did that, the cost was coming to a meager 2 crores. So we estimated that if we have to cover the entire Warangal city, which is 180, it will not cost us more than 400 crores. Now that's where the struggle is. There is no line item in the state's budget for slum improvement in this manner. The only line item they have for slum improvement is multi-storied housing. From slum, you can go into multi-story housing. Now, we argued, we killed ourselves with arguing that there was a drain, an STP, which was being established at the end of the drain in the city, which would anyway not cover the entire city because each of the gullies have to be connected to the main drain for the sewage treatment plant to. That was costed at 800 crores under the smart city. So we argued for half of this, your 40% population of Warangal city, which is underprivileged, will get benefited. We need to move policy. And that's the frustrating part of policy which Aishwarya and I deal with. But that 400 crores will not come with an NGO protesting, activist protesting. It has to be policy driven. So have I been successful? I've been a terrible failure. But have I tried? I tried tooth and nail for many years, and I will continue doing it.
Thank you for this question. We will take it
One other
forward
question.
with Aishwarya. Sorry, your good name?
My name is Shiva.
Shiva, we will take this answer forward with Aishwarya because she was nodding away at the future tables. Sorry, we are running out of time. We will have to shift everybody to where you are right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Thank you so much for accommodating us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank everybody here who spent so much time. Would like to have a small photo session with you all, and whoever is go and talk to the students can start interacting with the students right away after this. Yeah, sure. Thank you.